Hello, it's Paul from Black Hawk Distribution here again. In the previous video we showed you how to connect to the Wi-Fi connection on the Smartbox, and this gives you into this sort of area of the Smartbox. So from now on what we're going to do is initially I'm just going to go back into the Smartbox area and just quickly show you outside there. We briefly went and showed you all about the Smartbox there. We're just going to click on to R3 markers there. And the R3 markers there now clearly shows all the markers that are on this Smartbox, and we've got 8 that are actually connected and live turned on. Okay. So for instance 20380, it shows me that it's in range. It's 100% signal there, which is brilliant. 80% battery life. That's the firmware it's working on. It's got the sound file already on, the configurations and the headset firmware as well. So it tells you quite a lot about that. You can also, if you just ping onto the side here, you can do, this is where you'll do all the update softwares on them. You can shut down the gun from here and things like that. Okay, so that's where you'll find all your guns in the Smartbox software. So we're going to come back out of that and then go into sessions now. Okay, so we'll just get rid of that one. So initially you will have a blank window like that, okay? And you need, before you can start loading any of these games here, you need to have a session open. So first of all you need to make sure we're in today's date. You can also do forward planning, so you've got a calendar there, so you can go throughout the months, weeks, whatever, and load your games sessions up game session sort of thing. But today, obviously, we're in today. Today's Thursday, and we're going to press Start a New Session. As soon as you press it, it brings up this box, and you can call it whatever you like. So 1 hour session, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, 10 o'clock session, whatever you choose will be there. So for now, we're just going to call it Test. And you can have it open-ended time. So here's your time there. You can just click on that, or you can do it in session time. So for instance, we can do it from 1:45 here. And to 1:45 if we wish, or 5 o'clock, or whatever time you want to finish that session. So we'll do it to 3 o'clock for instance. Once that's done, you just press save, and there's your session open. So we've got 1:45 to 3 o'clock, and that's still editable. So if you go over the time, you can just change it. It's not set in concrete. And then once you've got this open, you can then start loading your games. Now initially in your Smartbox, when you get it, you will see My Games, and you'll have this list here. And this My Configuration area, yours will be blank. Ours has got games in, and I'll show you how to get those in a second. So first of all, you get into My Games, and you get this list. Now this list is all games that potentially you could play, but they are very broad and not very fun to play as they are, because their barriers are too wide, if you like. So we're going to just pick one of them and show you inside that game and show you how to configure that game. So we're just going to pick Free for All, for instance, and we drag and drop into your session. And what we'll do as well, we'll do a team deathmatch as well, and we'll just drag across there. So there's your games loaded, ready potentially to play if we wish, but at the moment we're going to configure. So configure, you just go into the configure part there, and it will bring this box up. Now we need to configure these soldiers into the game initially. Okay, so what we need to do is just make sure what we've got. So we're just going to go down the list, and it'll start off with shot power there. And this soldier, if it shot one of the enemies, they would lose 1 life every time I hit it. You can move that up or down regardless of there. So you just use the positive and minus to bring up or down to make it more powerful. Rates of fire, this is on auto fire, but you can click that off, and you can have intermittent fire. You can change that likewise by doing the plus or minus. We'll keep it on auto fire for now. The clip size or magazine size, this is how many bullets they've got in the magazine in the gun at any one time. So this one's got 30, so I'll keep that one there. But again, you can just change it by using the plus and minus. The clip number is 20 in this one. So they can load the gun 20 times with 30 bullets in each load at the moment as it's set. Again, we can change that. We like to tend to sort of keep it an affinity sort of load, so they can just reload, continue throughout the game. Special shot count. Now the special shots you can have off. This one's soldier, so we're going to give him grenade. But you could also have medic and ammo. So if you've got a medic in the team, they would have the med pack instead of the grenade, and vice versa. And these can make, you can have these as little or as most as 99 is the maximum. So you can just plus or minus to give them whatever they want. And this just means that this soldier now has got 5 grenades able to use during this game session. One arrow down. Special shot power. Now these grenades here, each time he fires and hits an enemy soldier, that enemy soldier will lose 3 lives because it's set at 3. We can set it at 4, 5 and so on, or down as the previous explained. Special shot reload. Now this is how long those grenades are going to take to load. So when I press the number 2 button on the gun, it's going to load a grenade up. And that time limit there is how long it's going to take. So it's down to 2 seconds. So when I press the number 2 button on the gun, it will take 2 seconds to load that grenade up. And again, I can change that up or down. Initial health. So this soldier here has got 30 lives, which is what we tend to stand in most games is 30 lives. But again, it depends on how and what you want to play with the games. Hit cycle delay. Now these are set at 2 as a default, which is quite high, which basically means if I got hit, it means I can't get hit again for 2 seconds. It doesn't sound a long time, but it is a long time when I'm trying to shoot somebody, and I can shoot probably 10 or 15 bullets in 2 seconds in an automatic rifle, and it means only probably less than half will hit him because of that. So what you need to do is just slim that little bit down. So we normally keep ours around about 0.6, anywhere around that area is fine. Otherwise, you'll get people complaining they're saying the tagger's not tagging, and that's generally the reason why, is because that is too high. The range of gun, we've got 1 to 7. This is set at 4. Now, if you're indoors, I would set it anywhere between 1 and 4, and if you're outdoors, anywhere between 4 and 7. And the reason for that is if you're indoors and you have any higher than 4, potentially you will get rebounds off walls, and you'll get shots going around corners and things like that. So if that does happen, you just need to trim that down slightly, depending on the light level in your arena, really. Reload delay, similar to the special shot delay reload. This is how many times or how many seconds it's going to take for the person to put a new magazine onto the weapon. Okay. And then we've got sound set. We've got kids, standard, and extreme. We're going to keep it at standard, and this is the military sounds in standard. What you need to do if you do want the military sounds, just go into the Smartbox, R3 markers and settings, and just make sure that that box there is clicked in military. If it's not, it's in basic, you're going to get a taser-y type sound. You've also got volume, and this is the volume of what the guns do. Vibration and backlight. We've got backlight on. If you're playing outdoors, I'd probably click the backlight off, just save your battery life a little bit. We've got no vibration on ours, and we've got no recoil, so just click them off. We'll go back into the game session and into those soldiers. So once we're happy that they are set, we then can move on to the next role of soldier. So we've got sniper in this one, and we do exactly the same with that one, and change that sniper into a different weapon system. So for a sniper, he's probably got more power in his shot, rates of fire are a lot slower, clip side are less, it's got less clips, and vice versa. I would probably not give him a grenade as a sniper. I don't tend to have grenades. And just make sure the sound set's the same on all roles. Once you're happy with that and you're happy with the game is, you then just move on to the next session here, the next part rather, and this is the scoring. So we tend to have a lot of hits, but it doesn't really matter really, to be honest. Scoring, so this number 1 means every time I hit an enemy soldier, I'm going to score 1 point at the moment on my gun. And we tend to put that up to 10. And again, it just depends on how you want to play it. Elimination is at 50 at the moment. We tend to sort of keep that at 20. We don't want to award them too much for killing an enemy soldier. So every time I kill an enemy soldier, I get 20 points now. The medic hits, we're trying to keep that the same as the normal hits. and likewise the supports. But again, it's how you wish to play the game. Respawn, we tend to penalise them for -20 or -10, either whatever you choose. We'll put it at -10 for now. So I will lose 10 points if I use the med box to get a life, basically. Okay. And then we need to just go into these times. So you go into the cross tools here, and it'll tell you the time of the game. So at the moment, this game is going to run for 30 minutes. Now we normally run ours for 5, so I'm just going to put that down to 5. And you've got a pre-play time as well. So if we were playing something like free-for-all type of thing where they're all standing in the same spot to start with and you need to give them a bit of a grace period to bomb burst in all directions, you can put that delay time there. So for instance, you could have it at 1 minute or 30 seconds for instance. So when we start the game won't start for 30 seconds, or the guns won't start up for 30 seconds. It will count down for 30 seconds and then start the 5-minute countdown for the start of the game. And it just gives the players a bit of time to find a space before anyone can shoot them, basically. Once we've done that, we need to configure that game so we don't have to go through all this every time. So what we need is these 3 dots at the bottom corner there. Just click on that. Save configuration. We want it configured only, okay? So we click that, and configuration name. So we're just going to call this as a test game. But again, you can call it if you like, domination, capture the flag, whatever you've set those, what game you're thinking it's going to be, just call it and save. And we save. Okay. Now, what will happen if we can just go back into sessions? That game that we've just configured there, if we go into my configurations now, and there it is. Okay, so from now on, I know that that game is exactly how I like it, and all I do is just move across, and that's the game I'm going to play because that's the game I've made. Okay, so you do that for all the games that you want to play. So we've got lots set in ours. We've called ours Team Games 4 Lives, Ultimate 4 Gun, Black Hawk, Down, Single Player, and so on. So these are all our games that we would play during our sessions. We know all the settings in each one of these games. So we haven't got to go through all that rigmarole of trying to reset them every game. So, for instance, let's just get rid of these now. Oops. So if you've made a mistake as well, you can just remove them and just remove them off that session. Everything is editable, so we'll just get rid of these. There we go. So when you've done all your configurations, and perhaps this is the following day or the following afternoon, and you're now doing a live session, you only use my configurated games. If you go into my games, they're going to be all those broad ones that are very sort of broad spectrum in the game sessions. So always use my configurations because they're your games that you've made. So for now, we're just going to go into capture the flag, domination, or VIP. We start the game. Because this is our first game, we have no players in there at the moment. So we go into players, add players. We've got 8 at the moment, so there's my 8 players. Now you can call the players whatever you like, or keep them as player 1. So you can just go into there and call them Fred, Tom, Dick, Harry, whatever you want to call them. Auto markers if you wish, which will just assign each marker to each player. And if you want to, you can do auto team as well. Or if you don't want to do auto team, you can just drag and drop them in. But if you press auto team, it'll just split them down into 2 groups like that. Once you're ready for that, now you're perhaps more or less ready for playing games. You just press next. And then what will happen now is we press play or start. The games will start. Now my guns are in another room at the moment. I can just hear them setting up now. And the game is on now playing. So it's playing for 4 or 5 minutes now. And there's the time timing down. If it's capture the flag, we can stop the game early by pressing the red button there. So we'll do that and it finishes. You can then download all the data. Now my guns haven't actually shot anything during this game, so there won't be any data to pick up, but it will take just a second.